If you want to know what you are, you have to understand the Mool Mantar. If you don't explore this, if you don't understand this, Gurmat, Gurbani will not make any sense. Let's start by looking at why is it called the Mool Mantar? What do those words actually mean? The word Mool means root, like the root of a tree. And there are three reasons that I can think of why this Shabad, this Mantar, is referred to as the Mool Mantar. It is the Mool because it is the beginning of Guru Granth Sahib. So if you imagine Guru Granth Sahib as a tree, then Ik is the seed, Mool Mantar are the roots out of which the rest of Guru Granth Sahib grows. The whole of the Guru Granth Sahib hangs off the root of Mool Mantar, and the whole of the Mool Mantar hangs off the seed, which is Ik. So the first reason why this is called the Mool Mantar is that this is the root that all of Gurmat teaching is based on. If you don't explore this, if you don't understand this, Gurmat, Gurbani will not make any sense. Any interpretation that you make of Guru Granth Sahib Ji, of Bani, without having the grounding understanding of the Mool, means that you will misinterpret Gurbani, because you haven't understood the root of Gurbani. The second reason why it's called the Mool Mantar is that the Mool Mantar is the root definition of God. It is the definitive explanation of what God and the universe is. It is the root description and definition of God. And the third reason why it's called the Mool Mantar is that it is actually the root definition of you. If you want to know what you are, you have to understand the Mool Mantar. It's a definition of you. It's a definition of what it means to be alive, to be conscious, and to be a human being. And as we go through the Mool Mantar, you'll start actually learning why the Mool Mantar is a definition of you. It's just as much a definition of you as it is a description of God. The Mool Mantar begins, as we all know, with a number. It's unique in all religious scriptures. This is the only scripture that begins with a digit. And the number means that Guru Nanak Dev Ji found that this was the most appropriate definition of God. That if Guru Nanak had to give you the answer, the only answer that he could give you was this number. And this is the full description of everything in Guru Granth Sahib is contained right here in this one digit. So it's quite important. We have to think about what it means. What I can say is when you look at your standard translations in Guru Granth Sahib, in your Gutke, you will see Ik Onkar described as there is one God. And very quickly we'll see that that line doesn't even begin to scratch the surface of what we're talking about. The use of the number one is actually very beautiful. In mathematics, number one is the only complete number. Every other number is multiples of one. One is the only whole number. 2, for example, is made up of 2 ones. And every other number is made up of multiples of 1. 1 is the only thing which is complete in its own right. The other important thing to remember about one is that one is the opposite of two. And there's a very fundamental definition in there. One means singular. Two means that there's a possible of something else being there. One means that there is only one thing. There's only one thing that we're talking about. If there is two, it means that there is something else. There's a one and there's another one. Yeah? So that's why it's the opposite of two. One means that it's not two, that there is no other. There is no other. There is no second. There's no equal and opposite. And what Guru Nanak Dev Ji is starting to do here is Guru Nanak Dev Ji, with this one digit, actually gives you the answer up front. So in any other tradition, if you go to a teacher and you ask a question, the teacher might know that the answer is too complicated for you, so he'll slowly try and get you to the understanding level 1, level 2, level 3, and then right at the end you'll get the whole picture. Guru Nanak Dev Ji turns this whole system on its head. Guru Nanak Dev Ji starts by giving you the answer. The answer is one. The answer to every question, every spiritual search ends here. The rest of Guru Granth Sahib is trying to explain this. This is the answer. Yeah, do you remember when you're in school and you've got a maths textbook and you flip to the back? The answers are always at the back here. Here's the other way around. The answer's at the front. Every question that you have when you're reading Guru Granth Sahib, you've got to go back and answer it with this answer. This is the answer to every question. Yeah? If anything doesn't make sense to you in Gurbani, it's because you're not remembering the answer. Because you've introduced a duality. This is the Dharam that's called the Advait Dharam. Dvait means duality. Sikhi is known as the Advait Dharam. The Dharam of non-duality. No two. There's no two in Sikhi. There's no other in Sikhi. There is no other answer in Sikhi. This is the answer to everything. So what is Guru Nanak Dev Ji saying with this? Guru Nanak Dev Ji is saying that what you're looking for, there's only one of it. Now we've heard that, right? There's only one God. We've heard that. That makes sense. But Guru Nanak Dev Ji is going beyond that. He's saying, I'm not talking about God. He's saying, everything is just one thing. Everything that you see is actually just one thing. So traditionally we might think of God as there's us, there's the world, and then somewhere, out there somewhere, there's this thing called God. Right? That's how we traditionally approach it. And what have we done as soon as we do that? There's me and there's something called God. It's out there. Straight away you've broken Guru Nanak Dev Ji's rule. Yeah, this is a mathematical perfection. This is a rule. Guru Nanak Dev Ji says that in order to understand this path, you have to stick within this rule. And the rule of discussion is that everything goes back to ik. There is only one thing. So by saying that I'm here, you're there, and somewhere there's a God, you've introduced a two. You've broken Guru Nanak Dev Ji's mathematical rule. The mathematical rule is that there is only one thing, and any discussion that you have about God has to be within the confinement of this rule. So that has some very fundamental implications to our search in Sikhi. It means that what you're looking for isn't somewhere else. What you're looking for isn't somewhere far away from you. Now that has massive implications to how we've been brought up into Sikhi. Sikhi has always been about there being this kind of godlike figure, a Mr. God. I call that guy Mr. God. Yeah? This character that we've created. He's male. He's generally an elderly man, white fluffy beard sitting in the clouds somewhere. Whether we like it or not, when we use the word God, ultimately we're talking about that guy. Yeah? This is why I don't like to use the word God. In fact, it's not our word. Because in language, every word has connotations attached to it. Every word has positive and negative connotations to it. And by using the word God, straight away you think of a human-like figure. You think of a person. Yeah? Father figure.
A recent study has shown that over 75% of Sikhs say that their life feels stressful or overwhelming. These feelings can develop into depression, alcohol abuse, or even suicide. We believe that Guru Nanak's wisdom can help transform people's lives. Nanak Naam relies on your donation to help create more videos and podcasts like this, to educate people all over the world on how to use Guru Nanak's teachings to improve their emotional, mental, and spiritual well-being. Set up a monthly donation today and help change someone's life. Visit nanaknaam.org/donate.
So Guru Nanak Dev Ji is scrapping this whole idea. Let's just get rid of this idea. Right here, right now, let's scrap this character. Yeah? This male father figure. Because Guru Nanak Dev Ji is not talking about that guy. Guru Nanak Dev Ji is saying that there's only one thing here. There's only one thing in this room right now. We can say how many people are in this room. But in the spiritual sense, the answer is there's only one thing in this room right now. Now that's very different, right? There's only one thing in this room right now. There isn't 15, 20 people here. There's one thing. Now, easy way to understand that is to look at your hand. How many hands are here? Just one hand. But we don't see the hand. We see the fingers. So this is me, this is you, this is my dad, my mom, my brother, my sister. So we're always looking at each other, and we're all looking at each other and we're saying, where's the hand? The fingers can't see the hand. So because they can't see the hand, they think that the hand doesn't exist. The fingers then start fighting about their definition of the hand, because they've heard about this thing called the hand. And the fingers say, well, I heard the hand is like this. And someone says, no, the hand isn't like that, it's like this. Someone says, but you can't refer to the hand, it's only called hat. If you call it hand, that's blasphemy. You got to call it hat, that's the original name. So, when you can't see the hand, you can have all the philosophies you want about what the hand is like, what it looks like, how to get to the hand. But Guru Nanak Dev Ji is saying, you guys have forgotten that there is only the hand. There isn't a you, a you, a you, a you, a you. You don't exist. Guru Nanak Dev Ji confirms that. Because in order for you to exist, you've broken the rule. So that then says, all that there is God. All that exists is God. That's what Guru Nanak Dev Ji is saying here. Not just in this room, not just in this building, but in this entire planet, this entire solar system, the entire galaxy, the entire universe, the universes upon universes, isn't multiple things. It's in fact only one thing. And that one thing, call it what you like, is what Guru Nanak Dev Ji is referring to. So the fundamental lesson is that you don't exist. If you exist, God cannot exist. As long as you exist, God cannot exist. When God exists, then you do not exist. This is what Ik is talking about. Gurbani refers to this. There's a line in Gurbani that says, Jab hum hote, tab tu nahi. When I existed, you did not exist. Ab tu hi, main nahi. Now that I know you exist, I cease to exist. Jab hum hote tab tu nahi, ab tu hi, main nahi. Now that I know that you exist, I've realized I don't exist anymore. So ik is the answer to every spiritual question. And it has massive implications about how we live our life. So I'm going to keep trying bringing this back to us so that we can relate it to ourselves, right? And ultimately, philosophy doesn't mean anything if it doesn't become something that you experience, yeah? So there's always this notion, I am trying to get to God. Yeah? In any spiritual path, ultimately, there's this journey. And we say you're on a journey, you're starting out, and the journey is that at some point you're going to become one with God. A really common analogy that I hear quite often is that you're a drop of water trying to return back to the ocean. Yeah? And that's what the spiritual journey is, that you're a drop of water and you've come from the ocean and you're trying to go back in the ocean. That analogy breaks this rule. That analogy breaks this rule. And the reason it's broken the rule is because the drop of water has never left the ocean. So you're not a drop of water trying to get back into the ocean, because you're a drop of water that's never left the ocean. The only difference is you can't see the ocean. And you think within the ocean, you think that you're an individual drop of water. Now, how ridiculous is that? For a drop of water in the ocean to think of itself as an individual drop of water. If I take a drop of water out of the ocean and I put it back into the ocean, can you pick that same drop of water out for me? You can't, right? Can't be done. As soon as it's in the water, it's merged. You can never pull that single drop of water out again. Now, what I'm telling you is that the drop of water has never left the ocean. So right now, we're in the ocean, and the ocean is called God. You are in God. In fact, God is made up of all of you. Now tell me how you're going to find God. Now tell me, what is this journey that you're going to use to reach God? I'm trying to get to God. What does the drop of water need to do? He's just got to figure it out, right? Because he doesn't have to go anywhere. He doesn't have to do anything special. Now, does the drop of water have to wear some special clothes to figure this out? Does he have to say some magic words in a foreign language? He's just got to realize the ocean. Yeah? Something has got to break. Something has got to shatter. The thing that makes him think that he is a drop of water in the ocean, he's got to figure out, what is that? What's the thing that's stopping me? What's the thing stopping the drop of water from realizing it's the ocean? Ego. What is ego? I'm a drop of water. I exist as an individual sovereign entity. I can do what I like. I am independent of the ocean. If you're independent of the ocean, you're going to spend your whole life looking for the ocean. You'll never find it. As long as you're an independent sovereign being that says, I am, and God, you got to come to me. There's a two. There's a me, and then there's a God. You've broken the golden rule, right? Mathematical formula. Remember this, Guru Nanak's formula is complete in its own right. Yeah? This is what Guru Nanak Dev Ji's mathematical formula is. This is what Guru Nanak Dev Ji is telling you. 1 plus 1 equals 1. That's Guru Nanak Dev Ji's formula. That is the answer to Sikhi. Now what we're doing is we're saying there's a me and there's a God, and somehow me plus God have to merge. Yeah? But the reality is that 1 plus 1 can never equal 1. Only 1 can equal 1. 1 equals 1. So as long as there's a you will never find God. It might sound challenging, it might sound complicated, but if you're going to walk on this path of finding God, we might as well take the obstacle out of the way. Because as long as you're walking along with yourself on this path, saying, I'm finding God, what are the first 2 words of that sentence? I am. And God is the last word in that sentence. As long as I am finding God.
If you enjoy learning spiritual teachings and you're looking to deepen your understanding, the most effective way is to learn with a group of friends. Right now, you can set up your very own Nanak Naam meetup group from the comfort of your own homes. Gather your friends, family members or colleagues and start your very own wisdom group by visiting livingwithwisdom.org. There, you'll find a range of Nanak Naam courses designed specifically for groups that you can watch together and discuss. A growing number of people have already started their very own wisdom groups, and it's having a huge positive impact on their lives. Find out how easy it is to start your own wisdom group by visiting livingwithwisdom.org.
This is where mantar comes in. This is where Naam Simran comes in. This is where we're using things like this is you. This is you. Right here, right now, this is God. Where are you going to go look? What are you searching for? What have you been searching for? When all that you're looking for is right here, here. You need nothing to find God, because it's already there. In fact, you are God. How can you not be? The drop of water is the ocean. Can anyone deny that the drop of water isn't the ocean? The ocean is in the drop and the drop is in the ocean. You can never take that single drop out. Where will you take it out into what? God is not the ocean and we are the outcasts. There is no outcast. There is no place outside of the ocean. Tell me one place in the ocean where God does not exist. Tell me one place. Like, it's a simple question. People are going to ask, well, okay, where is God? The answer is, tell me one place in the ocean where there's no water. Is there anywhere in the ocean where there's no water? No. The Buddhists have a really easy way to describe this, right? One fish swims up to another fish and says, so where's this water that everyone keeps talking about? And that's what we're doing. We're going up to somebody else, so where's this God that everyone keeps talking about? Now, how is Guru Nanak going to explain to someone like that with that kind of question? When the very question is wrong. How do you explain to someone when someone says, where is God? Say, there, I'm looking at him. Here is God, this is God. So then it changes your whole meaning, because then God just becomes, oh, is that it? I thought it was something amazing. But when you switch this off, you'll realize it is something amazing. It's this thing, it's expectations, step number 4. Step number 3. Expectation is what's holding you back. That I'm looking for something else, that I am looking. In other traditions, they talk about God like a character, and they also talk about an equal and opposite called the devil, Satan. Yeah? And the implication being that all things good is God, and all thing bad is something else. Now in Sikhi, luckily we don't have that Satan character. Yeah, we've already invented one character, the second one we don't need. The other religions are thousands of years older than us, so they've had time to develop a second character. So they have a God character and they have a Satan character. And so all things good is God. God makes it sunny and Satan makes it rain. You know, it's like all the bad things. Satan is all the sadness, God is all the happiness. So if you're going to try and find God, those traditions where they have two things is even further away. Guru Nanak Dev Ji gives you the answer right up front. There is nothing else for you to look for. But this Satan question is quite interesting. Because what we do in our tradition, because we don't have a Satan, we make ourselves the Satan. Oh, I can't be God. Oh, I'm terrible. Oh, I'm a puppy. Oh, I drink this. Oh, I eat this. So we create a Satan. We create a devil. We say, oh, God is all things pure, all things good. God can't do anything bad. I'm the bad one. I'm the puppy. I'm the sinner. Yeah? And by doing that, you've broken the rule. Guru Nanak's mathematical perfection, ik. There is only one thing. But that's so challenging for us because it begs the question, how can I be God? How is it possible that all this time I'm the one that's God? That I've been looking for something, but actually the something that I'm looking for is me. It's too challenging. So what we do is we deny this. No, it can't be right. And then you're going to go to the Gurdwara every week and do your Path Puja and your Bhajan and do all that, do your Kirtan, do your Naam Simran, wake up in the morning, do all that. But as long as you don't identify this, you can do what you like, but you're fooling yourself. Because you're saying, I'm going to find God. God is something better than me. Yeah? Because I know what I am. I'm pretty ordinary. How can I be God? God must be something amazing. Yeah? It's the fingers all describing to each other what they think the hand is. Oh, the hand is like this. Oh, I've heard the hand is 6 foot tall. Oh, I've heard the hand can do this. Yeah? I've heard the hand can shoot fire out of its palm. You can do all these things. You can have all these philosophies about what God is. Guru Nanak Dev Ji scraps all of that and says, here, right now, ik. So then, there's only one thing for you to do, is to realize God. You have to learn to redefine yourself. You have to unlearn everything that you knew about God, everything that you were told about God, everything that you thought about yourself. You have to unlearn all of that. But even unlearning is a type of learning. And that's the path of Sikhi. To unlearn that, what you've been conditioned with. The question then comes, well, why was I given this ego to begin with? Why couldn't I have just been born enlightened? Why are we born with an ego? Why are we born with a self-identity? Where does this come from? Are we unique in this ego? If you look at every creature on earth, Darwin talks about the survival of the fittest. Every creature on earth is trying to survive. In order to survive, it has to create a protection. Some animals protect themselves physically. Some are bigger, some are stronger, some are faster, some are smaller, some are larger. Some can mold into tiny spaces, some are hard as a rock. These are all defense mechanisms. And our defense mechanism for our own survival, the survival of every human race, the survival of every human being, of every animal, is the survival of the fittest. In order for me to procreate, in order for my gene pool to carry on, I have to win the battle. This is nature. All of nature works like this. This ego is something that we've been given. But we have to learn to live with the I amness and redefine the I amness. Now, it sounds like a lot of hard work, really, isn't it? Why bother? Sounds like too much work. Why don't I just get up and go to work? As long as I'm not killing anyone, as long as I'm not hurting anyone, why don't I just live my life and just do simple, ordinary things, hang out with my mates, have a laugh, and just live a normal life? Why do I need to redefine my self-definition? It feels like a lot of hard work, yeah? This is something that you will have to answer for yourself.
Have you found that spiritual teachings are great to learn, but not always easy to apply to your own life? Sometimes we all need a bit of support and guidance from people who know what we're going through and can help us find some answers. The Nanak Naam Facebook group helps you do just that. It's an online community where you can ask any questions about life and get answers from other members of the group. Search for Nanak Naam Community Support and join our free Facebook group today.
At some point, each of you realize that actually I've done all that stuff and still there's something missing. A lot of people don't realize it. So you're very fortunate that you even have the blessing to just have something inside you that's a little bit agitated that says, you know what, no, I think there's more to it. I think there's something more. And the truth is, all of mankind is looking for that something more. They don't know quite what it is, but we know that there's something out there that kind of is all fulfilling. Because when you just live your ordinary life, you earn your money, you go to work, you spend your money, you enjoy, you do all that, have a good life, have a bit of a laugh. But what we're trying to do is we're trying to find this thing that satisfies a void inside of us, a hole inside us that says something should be able to fill that void, that emptiness. And what we're trying to do is we're trying to patch that hole with very temporary pleasures. Yeah? Money, yeah, that will make us happy. Husband, wife, partners, that will make us happy for a while. Food, drink, that will make us happy for a while. Music, entertainment, that will make us happy. But you realize that there's something that's never filled by all of those. But the mistake that we make is that we don't question the things that we're running after. We just do more of that. Oh, I'm not happy because I don't have enough money. I'm not happy because I don't have enough friends, or I'm not going out enough. I'm not partying hard enough. Yeah? You only have to ask the people that have partied hard enough that realize, you know what, I've done all of that as well. I've partied more than anybody. You can find people that say, you know, I've done it all. I've drank everything, I've consumed everything, but still there's something missing. It's at that point that you then have to go to somebody, a master, a spiritual master, a guide, a guru, that says, come, I'll tell you what the secret is. Because you've been looking in the wrong places. But until that thirst comes in, you're never gonna go on this path. This isn't a path of textbook learning. Yeah, this isn't like just be a good Sikh and go learn all the good stuff and learn the Guru's names and learn how to do all this stuff and learn how to do your Barnia. That's fine, but the reason for doing all that is to fill this void inside you that says, you know what, there's something more. And by being given an ego, you are also given this void inside you that says, you know what, there's something in me that says that this isn't enough. So you have to answer your own question, why am I going to go on this spiritual path to redefine my own self-definition? And even on this spiritual path, if we don't address this duality that we've created, the something that you're looking for is always beyond your reach. It's always somewhere out there. It's always a bit far away. God is like, I've done all the stuff. I've woken up in the morning. I do my nitnem. I do my part. I've learned everything and all that. But still, I haven't got there. I still quite haven't reached it. Because you haven't fundamentally readdressed who is looking for what. What are you looking for? Because if I'm looking for God, jab hum hote tab tu nahi. As long as I am here looking for you, I'll never find you. If you've got 1 and a 1 and you're trying to get to this, basic maths, how do you do it? Is 1 plus 1 ever going to equal this? What do you have to do? You have to make something minus, don't you? So which one are you going to get rid of? Are you going to get rid of me or are you going to get rid of God? One of you has to go. There's a me and there's a God. And somehow, me and God are trying to merge. What's the thing that's stopping you? It's right there. That's the thing that's stopping you. If me is trying to get to God, there's something right there, and the answer is right there. The thing that is looking is the problem. The one that is looking is the problem. That's the roadblock. That's the obstacle. So this is where Naam Simran comes in. Where within your meditation itself, the purpose of the meditation isn't for God to come to you. It's not 1 + 1. So what we're trying to do there is saying, I'm okay, I'm going to stay as I am. God, come into my space. But that's not how it works, does it? You have to lose yourself into God, because God's already there. The you has to dissolve, has to drop. So this is what Guru Nanak Dev Ji is identifying with ik. So I'll leave you with a simple story that's an example of how we live this life. There's a holy saint who hasn't eaten for a long time, who's sitting on the side of a road. A rich man walks past him, notices that he's hungry, and throws him some food. The holy man takes the food and feeds it to a dog, even though he's very hungry himself. The rich man turns around and starts laughing at him, saying, I just threw some food at you and you fed it to a dog. The holy man said, God is feeding God and God is laughing at God. This is the path of Sikhi. There's no I in Sikhi. There's no ego in Sikhi. There is no room for you in Sikhi. Get rid of you, and everything that you've been looking for is found. Inevitably, the conclusion to what I'm saying is that, I don't really have to do anything then. If you don't do anything, you'll never get there either. So Gurbani spends all of its time telling you to do stuff. Why? Because Gurbani talks to people at different levels. As long as you are your ego, as long as there is an I am, Gurbani talks to that I am. When that I am is dissolved, Gurbani tells you that it wasn't you doing it in the first place. Even you trying to find God, there's a desire that says, I'm trying pretty hard, God. I'm doing quite a lot of effort. I'm not eating all these things, and I'm waking up at these times, and I'm keeping my mind controlled and all that kind of stuff. Surely I deserve the fruit at the end of all of the effort. The desire will stop you, because who is the one that wants to achieve? Me, I am. This isn't the path of receiving anything. This is the path of giving yourself. Guru Nanak Dev Ji talks about this. Joto prem khilan ka chao, sirtar tali kali meri aao. Whoever wants to walk on this path, give me your head. Because this is what this path is, to give yourself up. And interestingly, Guru Gobind Singh Ji does exactly the same thing. This isn't a new concept when Guru Gobind Singh Ji asks for a head. He's not doing anything new. He's just doing a physical manifestation. And you'll notice a lot of what Guru Gobind Singh Ji, the ceremonies that he does, and he's given us, are physical manifestations of things that are already described in Bani. Yeah? So this is the path of saying, if I'm going to find God, there's only one way to do it. Get rid of me. That's what Guru Gobind Singh Ji is asking for. Who is willing to get rid of themselves? Guru Nanak Dev Ji says the same thing. If you want to go on this path, chop your head off and give it. Yeah? When you're walking on this path, don't hesitate. Don't hesitate to give your head. Not physically. We're not being demanded to physically do it. We're being demanded to give our ego away. And that requires effort. That's the thing that has to be done. How do you give your ego away? When you wake up in the morning, it's too early. Don't want to get up. Go back to sleep. Ego. Giving your ego away says, I've got to do it. I'm giving, it's not my choice, I've got to give it away. So you give it. That's the hard thing to do. So Gurbani and the Ret and the rules are all about ways that we learn to give away. Yeah? You want to look nice and neat? Yeah? You cut your hair. Say, oh, I want to look good. I want to look good. You want to look good? There's a me. You want to give it away? You say, universe, do what you want with me. Fine, let it go. Yeah? There's a reason why there's a Kesha in the path. Not because Guru wants you to look horrible, not because Guru wants you to be inhibited, not because Guru wants you to turn around and say, oh, why did you do this to us? All religions are allowed to cut their hair, we're the only ones not allowed. There's a massive reason why we do this. Because you let it go. You're giving yourself, you're saying to the universe, do what you want. This ain't my body, this is your body. Absolute. So this is the stuff that has to be done. Yeah? Because if you don't do these things, it's a lot harder. You can achieve it. You can achieve it with no effort. But for mere mortals like us, we have to actually do. But who's the one doing? As long as you're in your ego, you will do thinking I'm doing it. When the realization comes that I no longer exist, then I never existed is the realization. Then all that exists is you. Then you were the one doing it all along. There was no me doing it. This is actually God. God right now is having a conversation with God. Who's talking to who? Who's listening to who?
Answer the following questions either by writing them down or discussing them in your groups. What do you think oneness means? And how does it affect your view of the world? Name some beliefs that you have about yourself which get challenged by the idea of oneness. Do you use any practices or rituals which make you feel closer to a higher power? Have you experienced discrimination? And how can understanding oneness help combat these issues?